So welcome to Hare Krishna Valley. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to our first COVID-19 program. First time we've done a program since everything changed in the world. We'll look back at 2020 in the future as the year that everything changed. Life will not be the same anymore. We don't know how different it will become, but it will be different from now on. It won't be the same. So, Hare Krishna Valley is a place where we try to teach people about a positive alternative, another way to live, as opposed to mainstream society. Because you can see mainstream society is not working particularly well at this point in time. It's starting to fall apart at the seams. So our aim here is to show a positive alternative. Something which is COVID-free, something which is life matters free, in other words, conflict-free. We're trying to have an atmosphere here which is showing people how they should live and how you can live so that you'll be happy and satisfied. Because otherwise, the world is not working at this point in time. There's some serious problems there. So our aim is to bring people here to show them this positive alternative, that they can live happily, without difficulty, or without strangeness. Just live normality. We try to have a sane atmosphere here, instead of an insane atmosphere. So the reason that we're practicing what we're practicing here is to show the world the opposite alternative. Where did this whole COVID virus come from? What caused it? Actually, it's a silly question because as soon as you say something, someone says, oh, actually it was something else which caused it. But generally, what's the general cause? What would we understand?
Someone decided to eat a bat.
Yeah, a bat. Or people have different alternatives of which animals it came from. But basically it's from eating animals. Yeah, basically that's where it's at. Of course, we could go into a whole other direction, that it could be from another cause, but we won't go there. But basically from eating animals. So what do we do here at Hare Krishna Valley? We forbid people to eat animals. If you want to do that, you go some other place. But here animals are protected. All life is sacred. Right? The humans are sacred. We won't have you for dinner, or for lunch, or for breakfast or a snack in between. We don't treat like that. Why would we treat the animal like that? We don't treat the human like that. When we say we're having a feast, it doesn't mean one of you. We'll just see which one it is today. Which one does it? No, we don't do like that. We decide to live peacefully. This is called ahimsa. Ahimsa means no violence. We will not commit violence unnecessarily. Here everything is peaceful. It is called Shantidam, which means a place of peace, actual peace. So, because the world has become problematic, we want to show the opposite alternative. And in the ancient teachings of India, in the Bhagavad Purana actually, which is on the bookshelf at the back, on the second shelf that's 18 volumes, that's actually just one book. It's called Bhagavad Purana, or Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the 12th part, the final part, all of the great scriptures of the world, the final part of the final chapter is entitled Revelations, just like in the Bible. The final chapter is called Revelations. So they tell you what's going to happen in the future. This is what is coming. So enjoy yourselves. This is what will take place. So in the Bhagavatam, it gives a very elaborate description of what will happen in the Kali Yuga. Has everyone heard of this term, Kali Yuga? Anyone not familiar? You've all heard of it. Oh, Kali, okay. So Kali Yuga. Yuga means age. Just like there are 4 seasons in Australia. In India there's 6 seasons, but because they have monsoon, there's extra seasons. But in Australia we have winter, autumn, summer, what was the other one? Spring. So we have 4 seasons. And then in the universe, we have 4 ages in universal time. And when you go through the 4, it takes 4,300,000 years to go through the 4, and then they start again. This is our version of reality. Modern science will give you a different version of reality, which we don't agree with. And they don't agree with us, so you have to take you have to decide for yourself, which you... But the way we describe it is, after 4,300,000 years, the ages change gradually, and you have a full cycle. So the cycle we're in now is the final age, which is called the Kali Yuga. Kali literally means dark or black. Yuga means age or time. So it is the time when society becomes dark or black. And 2020 is showing us more than ever before. Maybe not more than ever before. I mean, 1939 to 44, I think we saw the worst. But we're seeing again problems arising. Probably not on the magnitude that we've seen for about 70 years now. So the Kali Yuga means the dark age. And it's called the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So you see quite a bit of quarrel. Is that a fair statement? Quite a bit of quarrel in the world. And hypocrisy. Has anyone seen hypocrisy? Yeah, one person. One person saw it. 2. Right, 3. Okay, now everyone's starting to wake up. Like, oh yeah. Hypocrisy is there. So this was spoken 5,000 years ago. It said, in this age, it will be quarrel and hypocrisy. And what are we seeing? Do you look at 2020? I don't watch the news. I don't have a television. Right? It's just not worth watching. But if you do, what do you see on the news? Quarrel and hypocrisy. That's all they report. And then at the end they have some sports, and then they tell you what the weather is tomorrow, and that's it. So that's the way the world has become, full of quarrel and hypocrisy. Also, it mentions in the ancient teachings, in the ancient scripture, it said, when the sages visualized or saw what was coming in the future, it's very interesting actually, the quality which was described. They looked into the future, they saw, this is 5,000 years ago, looking at the age of Kali as it would unravel and develop. And it describes there's one thing in particular that they saw in human society. Would anyone like to guess what that one quality was that they saw? Greed, yeah, very good. That's definitely that. Yeah, that wasn't the quality they saw, but yeah, 100% it's there. Interesting actually, which quality they saw as the overriding quality, the greed, yeah, very good. They saw that as well. What else? Which quality? If you looked at this age and you had to see one quality, which would it be? Anyone who gets it right gets a free dessert.
Lack of truth.
Very good. Lack of truth. Or, specifically it's called ashraddha, or a lack of faith. Very interesting. People lose faith. This age deteriorates faith. Right? What have we lost faith in so far?
I'd say the government probably.
Governments? Hands up if you trust the government. Not entirely. I mean, I trust them to a certain degree, but entirely? No, I don't. Right? What else have we lost faith in?
Maybe humans?
Humans, yeah. That's a problem. Yeah, if you lose faith in humans, then you've really got a problem, because they're everywhere. There's 7 billion. So that's a problem if you lose faith in humans. But yeah, it's true. I don't have faith in everyone. There's certain people who I have faith in, but there's other humans I don't. That's true. Okay. What else have we lost faith in?
God.
God, yeah. That's a problem. Yeah, it's very hard because we're a religion. I mean, we're also a spirituality. You know, we come under many categories or umbrellas. We're under many. But we're also a religion. We're part of Hinduism, technically. So it's difficult because you want to teach people about God, and people are like, well, I'm not sure if there is a God, and if I look at all the religions, you know, I don't like the way they operate, and I don't know what they've done to people. And, you know, every time you turn on the radio, I hear about, like, you know, child abuse from the Catholic Church. You know, I was listening to the radio, I think, the last 6 months, and every time I turned it on, that's what they were talking about. And then it's very hard for us to come along and say, oh, by the way, it's okay, God is still there and he's good. Yeah, and then people say, yeah, but, you know, look at the religions, you know, we go towards a religion, they do this. People are losing faith, even in God. No? That's a real problem. No? What else have they lost faith in?
Family.
Family, yeah. Can't even trust your family a lot of the time now. That's true. That's true. Very good point. If I look at my family, I would have to say, yeah, there's only certain members in the family I would trust. I have faith in. That's true. Good point. What else?
Well, I think sometimes you lose faith in yourself.
Yeah, even in yourself. Can't even trust yourself anymore.
Yeah, I think sometimes you think you're doing, well, I know I'm not obviously doing everything right, but sometimes you think you're doing okay and then something bad happens and you have to reevaluate what you're doing because you think you were doing okay and then it's like, well, what am I doing?
Mm. Yeah, that's very good. That's an interesting point as well. I didn't think of that one as well. We even lose faith in ourselves. You know, are we actually acting the right way? That's a very interesting point, because in our tradition, the way that you don't lose faith in yourself is that you take shelter of a guru. Because then, as you say, you may make the wrong decisions, but if you have a guru, the guru always guides you in the right way. As long as the guru's okay. So even that's a problem now. We're seeing the gurus. You know, I won't name people. You know, who have big haircuts and things. I won't name anyone, but you know, but yeah, we've seen cheating. Like it's everywhere. So we're in the age of Kali. It's hard to have faith in anything anymore. So in the ancient teachings, it says Kali dosha nidhe rajan. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. It's spoken 5,000 years ago. It says, in this age of Kali dosha. Dosha means fault, defect, problems. Kali dosha nidhe. Nidhi means the ocean. This age, Kali Yuga, it says is an ocean of faults. Right? It's like when you look into the ocean, it just keeps going. It's like, how many faults are there in this day and age? Well, it just keeps going. You know? Especially in the last 6 months, I've been looking more deeply at things. You know, I've always heard society has problems, but when you look deeply, it's even surprising me how messed up it is, actually, when you really go to the roots of the whole thing. There's a lot of problems there. So, Kale dosha nidhe rajan, asti heko mahanguna. Mahaguna. Mahaguna means great quality. Eka means one. Even though there's an ocean of faults, there's one great quality. Kirtana deva Krishnasya. Kirtan means chanting, like we were doing just before. The names of Krishna, God. Like that. When you come together and you chant like that, then it's all the problems, even though there's so many problems in the world, they dissipate. I've been doing this chanting for 30 years. And whenever I do it, I just feel all the problems just dissipate. And we do this chanting every day. Right? We do it every day. And when you do it every day, what takes place? The problems in your life dissipate. The more you do the chanting, the more the problems go away. How much do we chant every day? The Hare Krishnas. Right? Those of us who have taken the vows, we chant 2 hours a day, minimum. Right? So the problems are dissolving. Right? Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. Mukta Sangha means you will be liberated from all the problems. Param Vrajet means you will go back to the supreme abode at the end of your life. You'll go back to that place which is beyond this world. Paravyoma means it's another place. Some people call it heaven. Some people call it, in our tradition, we call it Vaikuntha. Now, what does Vaikuntha mean?
No anxiety.
No anxiety. A place where there is no anxiety. Just seeing if you're still with me, Dylan. There is no anxiety in that place. It is free from anxiety. Hands up if you would like to go there. Yeah, it's not in this world. It's not in this world. The closest in this world is called Hawaii. But even that has problems. Or I go to Bali. You know, I go to Bali if I want to get out of the, you know, and even that's not perfect. That's good. That's not perfect. So you can go anywhere in this world, but there are problems, guaranteed. Just like a few years ago, one of my friends, she works in Cairns, which is like in Australia, a very tropical place, very beautiful place. She works in like a 5-star resort. And she said people were coming from overseas, you know, they book their holidays and they pay a lot of money. And they arrive there and, you know, they get into the 5-star resort and they get their room and it's beautiful and then they go and sit on the beach. And that particular year, for about a month, there was these marsh flies in Australia, like famous flies. When they bite, they hurt. But there was like a swarm or a plague or something. And she said all the people, I mean, it's try not to laugh, but you know, all the people pay thousands of dollars to come here and they couldn't even sit on the beach. Because every time they sit on the beach, it was boom, 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 boom. And you know, they're putting repellent on and they didn't do a thing. And people were going crazy. You know, we want our money back. You know, you told us to come here. You said it was such a nice holiday and we get here and we can't even sit on the beach. What sort of a place is this? You know, but you can't plan for these things. So that's the nature of this world. But there's one place where there are no marsh flies. That is Vaikuntha. That's where Krishna lives. We see God as a bluish cowherd boy. Right? You see in all the pictures, he's a bluish cowherd boy. Like you see. Young person and very beautiful. And he lives in a perfect place in the forest with his cows and his friends and his peacocks and his gopis. Like that. And they enjoy themselves. And there is no anxiety. No marsh flies. No bad weather. No internet failure. No. Can you imagine living somewhere where there's no internet? I can't wait. Seriously, I cannot wait. You know, get back there and there's like no mobile phones. It's like, I can't wait. I've got to carry this thing all the time, practically. You know, because like, you know, I'm on call all the time. People, you know, ring up, want to book retreats or, you know, want to come to your feast today, you know, can I come like that? So I've got to have it with me all the time. It drives me, it doesn't give me pleasure. I use it very effectively because I reach out to people all the time. So it's a very effective thing, but I don't enjoy it. I can't wait to get to a place where, well, when I go to India, I don't take it every year. I just leave it behind 1 month. But then now this year I can't go. Now they've wrecked everything and I can't even get to India. I can't even have a break, so I've got to keep my phone with me for So it's a problem. But when you go there, there's no internet. I'm looking forward to it. People are normal. They just talk to each other. You don't just all sit there and like, you know, very abnormal the way it's become. And people are wondering why there's more and more mental disease. Because the lifestyle is so artificial. So that's what we're teaching here at Hare Krishna Valley. A positive alternative. There has to be something different. There has to be something better. And we'd like to give up our phones as well, but it's not possible at this point in time. You know, to run this place, I need this mobile phone. But actually, it just causes problems long term. I'll ask, does anyone have any questions or comments? Normally we have a lot more people here. But if anyone has any questions you'd like to ask about our lifestyle or our philosophy or anything like that, you can ask, I can try to answer something if you have anything. Any other questions? Yeah.
I have a curiosity.
Of course.
So you've mentioned the Krishna that's with the gopis.
Yep.
But he's honoured in different forms as well. The stealer of the butter and the chariot person, driver.
Yeah.
Was he the driver? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Bhagavad Gita.
So is that not part of it all too for you here for you guys?
What's the question? I didn't get that.
That you just highlighted only one story.
Oh, one story.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, when he came, we believe he's God. That's how we believe. We actually believe this. You know, God's a blue cowherd boy.
But that's what I'm asking. So
Yeah. No, I'm going to elaborate. Yeah. Yeah, we actually believe this. Sometimes people think we're crazy, but we actually fully believe that God is a blue cowherd boy. But for me, it's not that radical because, you know, the other half of the population believe that humans fell out of monkeys. You know, it's like it's just a different belief system. That's all. So it's just a different way of seeing the world. I believe that this is correct and this is true because the lifestyle leads to completeness and satisfaction. So to believe that he is that cowherd boy, then that is, to me, it gives the deepest meaning to existence and satisfaction to serve God, to serve that cowherd boy. Now when he came to earth, we believe he actually came to earth 5,000 years ago, south of Delhi. And he appeared in Vrindavan. Have you been there?
no.
To Vrindavan? Yeah, he appeared there. I go there every year, except for 2020. But usually I go there every year. So he appeared at this place, this sacred place, and he stayed on earth for 125 years. So he lived for about 10 years as the cowherd boy, as the free lad who was enjoying himself. At the age of around about, in human years, around about the age of 11, he moved to Mathura, which was the nearby city, and he took up his responsibility of being a prince. And that's when he became the driver of the chariot and all those things. And then he moved to Dwarka, which is on the west coast of India, and he lived actually on the ocean for around about 90 years in his capital, and he ran the Yadu dynasty. He was the prince of the dynasty. So we give equal importance and equal respect to all phases of his lila or pastimes. Although that being said, we're a little, like everyone has their favourite portion of history, yeah. So we favour Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is where he was just carefree and sweet. It's like, you know, if you're a prince, you know, you're a prince. So you're regal, you're powerful. You know, even he didn't enjoy it as much. He actually said on many occasions, I wish I was just back in the forest with the cows. But he had to be responsible. So he went to this, he became a emperor effectively. But so for us, because that's what he enjoyed the most, that's what we enjoy the most. And especially he likes being with the cows. And anyone who lives with cows, like after lunch today, you're welcome to come with us. We're going to go and feed our cows. Someone sponsored some special treats for the cows today, so we're going to go. If you'd like, you can feed the cows. And it says that wherever cows are protected and wherever they're nurtured and looked after, the whole place becomes auspicious. Good fortune arises. So here we have 23 cows and bulls, and we look after them. And they live without fear in 5-star accommodation. And they get fed whatever they want practically, and they just enjoy life. And when you do that, God himself, Krishna, blesses you. Because he especially enjoyed the time that he spent with his cows, then we also are attracted to that portion of his existence. Would you like to add anything or ask it more?
No, you've read it. Thank
No,
you.
that's good. You've read about him? About Krishna?
I was yes and no.
Okay. How do you describe yes and no?
Well, yes in that we've come across him
Yep.
and some of the stories.
Yep.
And I was curious that you just highlighted one as Bhaktivedanta because this is the part that is celebrated by most.
Yep.
And I was just wondering
Yeah.
why that was. Well, then you answered because that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't know that before.
Yeah, that was his, it's like when you look back at our life, you know, like I'm 50 now, so I look back at my life, and I think, oh, that was the portion I enjoyed the most. You know, we all do that. Yeah, there's like highlights like that. So then he's like that as well. So when he came to earth, he had to show responsibility. Because we have to be responsible in this world. You know, we all live here at Hare Krishna Valley, it's peaceful and everything, but we also have a responsibility to help society. So, you know, he showed his responsibility, he went out and became a prince. So we also have to do like that, we have to get involved. Even though we know what we're getting involved with isn't particularly pleasant. But we have to do it, we're duty bound. So, thank you very much, nice question. Any other questions? Or
Dorothy Dixon.
yes, madam.
If we love Krishna so much,
Yes, Dorothy.
where did the chanting come from?
Oh, then. The gopis did it.
Ah.
They couldn't forget his name. They were enchanted by him.
You know quite a lot.
Well, they were. And I can understand why.
Yeah.
He was God.
Yeah. No, but you know quite a lot. It's rare that someone walk in here and they would know those things. So. But yeah, that's I'll take from where you've where you've begun. I was going to start at a lower level, but you've gone to a very high level very quickly. So yeah, it was ultimately because Abhinitwa Nama Nama No, which means the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. Just like Shakespeare said, a rose by any other name is still as sweet. Words to that effect. So you can call a rose a daffodil, or you can call it a gardenia, or you can call it a whatever you like, but it still smells like a rose. So the name, the nomenclature, and the object are not the same. Names are just temporary. Like I can give you a name, I can call you Tim, or Bill, or Prasen, or anything, I can call you anything. It doesn't matter. You know, names are just, you can put them on and you can take them off. But when it comes to Krishna or God, the name is eternal. Abhinitwa Nama Namano means it is non-different. Nija Sava Shaktis, which means in the name of Krishna, all the energy of God is present in the name. So when you chant, what is God full of?
Knowledge and love.
Love, very good. So, someone said?
Knowledge and bliss.
Very good. Knowledge and bliss. So if someone's full of bliss, then when you chant their name, by associating, because it is non-different, you say their name repeatedly, Krishna, 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 you will feel bliss. Because the bliss is fully contained within that name. It is non-different from that name. That's why we chant, and that's why we feel blissful. Sometimes people say to us, Hare Krishna people always look happy. Why is that? Because it's our job description. We sign a contract when we become Hare Krishnas, you have to look happy all the time. We say, oh, okay, we'll do it. Right. No, it's because when you chant the names of Krishna, you will feel happy. That's why the more you chant, you'll feel blissful. Right? And when you stop chanting, you will feel the presence of God or the presence of Krishna distance. So the gopis, who were Krishna's most closest friends, they would chant his name all the time. And because they were chanting, they were the most blissful. So we aspire to follow in their footsteps also. Anyone like to add anything else, Dorothy? No? Any other questions? Or
If I can add a comment.
yes, sir.
So, I mean, being from India, I mean, you know, of course, I've known all these things.
Yeah.
I've even studied Bhagavad Gita when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I do have knowledge of Sanskrit, but it's very interesting to see people, you know, who are not part of India, yet adapting to this culture. So, kudos to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we adopted it because the food is very good.
For sure.
I tell you. I walked into Hare Krishna temple 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I sat down on the ground like this. Raj Bhog, lunchtime.
Yep.
And they came around and they started serving. I like to eat. They started serving, putting on my plate. So I ate, whoa, what is this? So I ate the whole thing. And they kept coming around. They said, you want more? And I said, yeah, okay. So, whoa. 3 times, 3 plates. Third plate, I said, I couldn't believe it. They said, have as much as you want. I thought, what is this place? Huh? And then what was the thing that got me? What clinched everything? Camphor sweet rice. Kia. Okay, you tasted before?
Yep.
Kia with the camphor?
Yep.
Like, offered to Krishna Prasad. Just like now, my wife is offering them the meal we cooked. We always offer it to God first, to Krishna. He tastes it, and after he tastes it, it becomes blessed, it becomes pure, it becomes prasad. And then it has spiritual power also. So when you eat it, you become spiritually purified, not just materially purified. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that if you eat the food which is not first offered to him, even vegetarian food, it is pap. Pap means like sinful. Yeah, it means that you will get karma because you took the carrot, or you took the rice, or the apple. And so you took some life. When we jiva jivasya jivanam, it says in the Vedas that to sustain your life, you have to take another life. Even we have to, when we eat, we're taking life. We kill the carrot. So therefore we're taking the life. But if Krishna says that if you offer the bhoga, the food, the vegetarian food, he says in the Gita, must be vegetarian. If you offer the vegetarian food to him, he will remove the karma, and it will become spiritually powerful, blessed, and when you eat it, you'll also become enlightened. So I took that camphor sweet rice, and when I tasted it, I thought, what is this? And they said, do you want to join? And I said, now, yes. I said, what do I have to do? They said, shave your head. I said, no problem. They said, you wear the robes. I said, no problem. And you have to chant on the mala, chant the meditation, the mantra. I said, no problem. Just keep giving me the camphor sweet rice. 30 years later, still doing it. Cannot stop. Because this is why. So Krishna makes this very important point. You can't eat the meat, Krishna says. Why? Because only Krishna, God, can create life. So you cannot take life. You can. I mean, you can take it, you can take the animal's life, but then you also have to create. You can't destroy, you also have to be a creator. Only he can do that. So he says, okay, you want to eat the meat, you have to also be able to create. You can't do it, so don't touch it. And we see now this whole problem, this whole world, is this one reason. Actually. One reason. You know how many animals get killed every year on the earth? Billions. Billions. I know the number, I can't remember the exact figure. It's mind-boggling. There's 7 billion of us, and between the 7 billion of us, we kill, it's like 30 billion animals or something. I can't remember the number. It's mind-boggling what we do every year. And sooner or later that karma has to come back. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's simple. And now that's what's happening. It's coming back, and everyone's saying, oh, why is this happening? Just start listening to us. We've been telling people, stop eating the animals. We can live peacefully on this earth. It's not a big problem, actually. But people are not listening and then see what the problem is, the big problem. Hare Krishna. So, thank you for your comment. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Yes, sir.
Just a curiosity, or maybe, I don't know, it's a doubt.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess we cook food probably in a lot of Hinduism culture and people following Hare Krishna and ISKCON. They cook food by burning wood, and because they don't want to use artificial source of cooking, so they cook food by burning wood, firewood. But then again, are we not burning that firewood and then creating the pollutants and stuff, which is again impacting the nature? And so, what are your thoughts about that?
What are our thoughts? Our thoughts are you have to burn something to eat your lunch. So you have to burn gas, or you have to burn coal, which they for electricity, or you have to burn wood, or you have to burn cow dung. So these are the options. I'm giving 4 options. I mean, we can technically say there's more, but basically. So coal is the worst, because then you make electricity, you cook on electricity, that's the worst, so avoid that. Gas is less worse, but still it's not good. Wood is less worse, but it's not perfect. Cow dung is the best. You cook on the cow dung, that's the best. Because it's just everywhere, it's just dung. Cow just pick it up, burn it, cook. And in India, many places they cook on the cow dung still. Right? Or the wood. Right? But the wood has to be sustainable. Basically the problem is, or the real problems came about around about 150, 200 years ago with industrialization. When we industrialized everything, because if you look back before then, in India and also in Europe and all around the world, people lived in villages and everyone cooked on wood and it was sustainable. Just like here on our property, like you see so many trees, hundreds of thousands of trees growing every year. So we take some, for our wood, right? We actually cook on fire quite often, not all the time, but quite often we cook on the fire. So the wood is coming, but it is sustainable. So we have to take something. Once again, jiva jivasya jivanam. Some source of heat has to come. We have to keep the house warm. We have to cook. So we need heat, but it has to be done sustainably. Unfortunately, when we industrialize things, industrialization is not sustainable. Now we're seeing, global warming. And so one of the real issues with what's happened with the COVID thing in the last few months, it's overshadowed you could say what is even a deeper problem, which is global warming. That's really an issue. Right? COVID's a serious issue, we can deal with that, but the global warming, that's a very serious. And unfortunately that's been overshadowed by the situation at this point in time. So we need to live more sustainably. And that's what we try to do here also. We try to show an example of living more sustainably. With our cows, after lunch we'll go and see. We're beginning to create the gobar gas from there. We're beginning to create that. So we're going to create more and more. And one of our world headquarters in Mayapur in India, one of our big kitchens, which feeds thousands of people a day, it's all done from gobar. Just everything is wood and it's just all gas, naturally produced. So we want to show that example. The cow can give us so many good things. Would you like to add anything more?
No, that pretty much answers,
Yeah.
That was a good point of growing your own trees, and then if you take some out of it, so it's more of sustainable.
Yeah, that's all. You have to do it. I mean, otherwise we die. Otherwise we eat raw food, which is possible. I wouldn't particularly like it. I could do it, but I wouldn't enjoy it. If I just had to eat just raw food, just pick the carrots and eat raw all the time, wouldn't I? I'd rather cook it and make some nice sabji, and that would be more pleasant. But we could do it. But generally, we need to cook, so we just have to work out sustainable ways. And we were doing it sustainably, and then 200 years, we basically wrecked everything. Earth's been here for thousands of years, but you look in 200 years, mankind has just made the biggest mess you could make. We're making so much of a mess. Like, even if you were conscientiously trying to wreck the planet, I don't think they're totally consciously trying to wreck the planet, but even if you're consciously, I don't think we could do much worse a job. Just like everything just getting wrecked, throwing the whole ecosystem. Like we're selling our food at the moment because the lockdown took place. So on Fridays we've been cooking our Hare Krishna food because some people were ringing us saying, we can't get your food, we're going to die, we can't live without your food, like that. So we said, it's okay. So we cook and then we drive and we, different locations around the area, and people come and collect the food. And then one man, he came and he said he works for the parks, like Victoria, so he looks after the wildlife and all the parks. And he told me there's something like 30 or 40 species, I can't remember what he said, whether it was every month or something, like 30 or 40 species in our forest and in our nature, which are going close to extinction. I can't remember if he said every month or every year or something, but it shocked me. I thought, wow, it's like that's how much we're wrecking things in such a short amount of time. If you look at Australia, the white men only got here, 200 years ago? Just over 200 years ago? And look at the mess we've made. What to speak of America and Europe and South America, and everywhere we go we make mess. Everyone makes mess, but especially white men, they're very good. The one nice book came out a few years ago called Stupid White Men. If you read it, it's very interesting. Yeah. White men make a big mess. Everyone makes a mess, but we're just very good at it. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Yes?
Just with the lockdown, what have you guys been doing? I'm not on Facebook anymore, so I don't know if you're posting what you guys have been up to or not.
Yeah, we're still posting. Still posting. We can't live without Facebook, so we still post. All the time. But yeah, mainly we just sit in here and we just chant. No, I was joking. We're out doing stuff. We've been working in the gardens a lot. So in the last 2 or 3 months, we're developing, we'll go up and see it after lunch. So we've got like a huge orchard, which we're developing, and a market garden, which we're developing at this point in time. And just a lot of maintenance projects, just like looking after this place, just keeping the place running. So we're just concentrating on, and I'm developing some online educational things like that. So we're just working on different projects. It's given us a bit more time to work on different projects, which normally we don't have as much time. So we're just developing this place to the best of our ability with all the help that we have. So what have you been doing?
Nothing much.
Yeah, you're allowed to come back down here again, so if you want to come and help, then you can come. When you're not working.
Yeah, no, I'm still working.
Yeah, no, you're working. But when you're in between work, if you want to come. We're allowed to have people come again. For the first 2 or 3 months, no one was allowed to come. We had to shut the doors. But now people are allowed to come again. So.
Yeah, I've been here a few times with Shane. Not helping with the work, I drop him off and then I go and do my own stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you for bringing him. He keeps the place going. So.
Without him, it'd fall apart, I'm sure.
Yeah, it started falling apart, then he started coming back, and now it's good again. So. Thank you. Any other questions? Dorothy, you have one?
Oh, all right. So to come back to the point about creating karma, you were saying that when we offer food to Krishna, Krishna is so pure that the karma is nullified.
Yep.
But then when we cook, we use wood, then there may be karma involved. So then we come to the Bhakti Yoga lifestyle where we're offering the things that we do throughout our life to Krishna. So what's the deal with the karma there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Same with the food. When the food is offered to Krishna, the karma is nullified, taken away. So it says that whenever you walk on the ground, you see like people from the Jain religion. You see from India, you see the Jains. Sometimes they wear the face masks, and the very strict ones, they wear like it's almost like the chapel.
Paduka. So they call it paduka. It's
Paduka.
Yeah, wooden.
Yeah.
Flip-flops.
Yeah, the paduka. So the paduka like has raised platforms, so they don't step on so many insects and things. So it says that whenever you light a fire, whenever you walk, whenever you breathe, whenever you do all those just activities we do every moment, we're killing living entities. So some people try to avoid it, like the Jain people do. They wear a face mask and they wear special shoes so they can't kill as many things. But what we do in our system is we try to minimize the violence as much as we can. But then just by our lifestyle where we devote all of our activities to Krishna and to God, which is called Bhakti Yoga, it says that all of those extra acts of maybe violence by breathing and so forth and accidentally killing things, that's all nullified. So it means when you practice bhakti yoga, you don't have to get the karma. You are karma free, and you become devoid of karma, and you can go back to the spiritual world. That's
By your blessing.
my Gurudev's blessing.
Just
Any other question? Or? Yes.
You were just saying before about not eating meat, and I've noticed now there's a bit of a trend in society, in general society, where people are eating less meat and they're talking about meat-free Monday. So you can see there is, with everything, even though there's a lot of negativity and stuff going on, there is still a bit of a shift in consciousness where people are becoming aware. And I mean, some of it's from a health perspective, but then you've got the vegan movement, which again comes from that sort of not just health, but from, that sort of caring about the animals. And, so it's a bit of a positive in light of everything else that's going on.
Yeah, there's some positive there.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
It's not a total write-off yet.
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
And how can we as, because in this world, so how do we sort of, I suppose, deal with what is going on? How do we kind of reconcile and how do we fit into that, in terms of, living a life, but, knowing that all that's out there, but how can we, in our own individual way, to make that difference?
Yeah, we just have to educate people as much as we can. Like send out as much information as knowledge as you can. So, Facebook's good for that. Facebook is the king. It is. It's the king. Something else will take over in the next decade. Something else will surpass Facebook, but whatever that is. So we just have to go wherever the noise is. If people are listening, then you go there and then you get in the marketplace. That's what I do. The retreat we're having next weekend. I think most of it just came from Facebook. So people are on this thing all the time. Right? It says 80% of society is the first thing they do in the morning. 80% of people, 8 out of 10 people pick this up and just start going away. Whenever you go anywhere, you just see people get on it. But you can directly connect to people everywhere now just by using that. So that's what we do. We just use it positively. Hey, we're doing this, come here. Or you can't come here, so then we'll come to you through this. So just however you do it, then just reach out to people. Just give them education. Give them an opportunity to hear something positive and another way to live. Right? So that's the way we do it.
Teach by example, you try and live that life, and then just by how you, say, being vegetarian, having that belief system in a higher being, having that sort of more inner contentment, I guess, by doing that yourself, people can see that as well.
Yeah, you have to practice what we're talking about. If we're saying, love and peace and mung beans, but then people come in and there's no love, there's no peace, there's no mung beans, then it doesn't work. You've got to make sure it's working. And now what science is doing now is I heard this recently, they want to produce meat in laboratories through cells. So they'll take cells and then they'll grow meat in laboratories so people who want to eat meat can eat it without animals having to be killed. So we don't think that's the best way, but at least they're starting to think alternatively to other. If they do that, then we can say, hey, okay, let's go now the next step. Let's not worry about it at all. They're talking about these things. They're saying even within the next 10 years they can develop these things. So we'll see. Non-meat meat. The world is getting weirder. What's wrong with just getting a vegetable and just offering it to Krishna and taking prasad? What's the problem? Everyone has to complicate everything, right? Krishna says just eat the vegetarian food, offer it to him. No, we won't do that. We'll go and kill animals. And now we won't kill animals. We'll create cells of animals in the laboratory and grow. It's like they have to complicate everything. Our food's good. Why do you have to worry about anything else? I can honestly say, I swear to Krishna, to God, the last 30 years I've never once thought of eating meat. And the next 30 years I'll never once think of eating meat. I used to eat meat before I became a Hare Krishna, but And I thought, the food is so good, why would I think it? Don't even think. I don't think, wish I had a burger or something. Just, we have our own burgers, they're better. Better than Hungry Jack's. Hungry Krishnas.
They don't exist.
There's no such thing.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Yeah, well, one day there might be.
Well, it used to be Gopal's Burgers.
Yeah, Gopal's Burgers. Yeah, we did have it, Gopal's Burgers, down in Swanston Street. Didn't last very long. It was before its time. We had a burger shop on the ground level at Swanston Street below. It only lasted about 3 months, late 80s. I think if it opened now, it would probably work, but back then it was a little bit too radical at the time. These things are coming. Maharaj Max, all these things, they will.
You can find, burgers if you go to India and if you go to some Krishna temple. For sure you'll find.
Yeah, here we make burgers sometimes. Yeah, you can do everything. You can do it better. Although we just have to become inventive, that's all. Any other questions? Comments? Yes, sir.
You talk about non-violence, but wasn't the Bhagavad Gita spoken on a battlefield?
Yes.
There's a conflict there.
Okay, well, let's kind of wreck the whole discussion then. Any other questions? I knew someone would ask that one. Okay, so how do we deal with that? That our book, our whole scripture, is spoken on a battlefield. And we spend the whole hour speaking of non-violence and everything, but the whole book is on a battlefield itself. So we have to understand the Bhagavad Gita is one chapter of the Mahabharata, which is a much bigger book, and this is just one chapter of the whole book. Now, if you look at the whole story, Krishna himself tried to stop the battle. We're not against violence, but violence is always the last resort. Like if someone comes in now, jumps out of their car and they start like smashing the building and, hitting people and being violent, we're not, first of all we'll say stop. That's the first thing we'll say. But if they don't stop, they will get a different response from us. So we're not against violence, but it's always the last resort. Just like my father, he was a martial artist. So when I was growing up, he taught me, he said, always walk away 3 times. If someone tries to, he said 3. But he said after that, that's it. You only go so far. So Krishna himself tried to stop the battle. Krishna, when he said, hey, go on, let's just all be peaceful. Let's just divide everything up. Everything's no problem. But they said no, and Krishna said, okay, what else can we do? Time for a fight.
But didn't Arjuna try to say, hey, I'm going to go away now to the Himalayas, become, and then Krishna said, no, go do your duty.
Yeah, because that's your duty. It's like if someone comes in now and starts attacking you, my duty is to defend you. So if I say, oh no, I'm going to the Himalayas now, then...
Well, you can't because of COVID.
Yeah, I can't get there because of COVID. I'm going to go to the Blue Mountains. It's not good.
Mount Bulla.
Was it?
Mount Bulla.
Yeah, I'll go to Mount Bulla. I'll go skiing while someone beats you. And that's not my duty. That's not duty. Duty means we have to protect. If you're a leader, you must protect. That's the point. So if it means that we have to be violent, we'll be violent. I've got no problem being violent. If someone's attacking, I will be violent to them. But it's the last resort. First thing we'll say is stop it. If they don't stop it, we'll say, please stop it. If they don't stop it, we'll say, you really should stop it very soon. Otherwise it's not going to look very good for you. But violence is the last resort. But we're not against violence. Even Prabhupada, one time they were speaking to Prabhupada, and someone was saying, non-violent. Prabhupada said, what's wrong with violence? Violence has to be there, but it must be used properly. It has its place. It's like now, they have these riots in America. So now they're like, abolish the police. Even this morning our daughter was telling us something. Were you there when she said that? Yeah. Now there's a movement, abolish police. That's the dumbest thing that anyone could say. Okay, let's all just abolish police. Now what would happen with society? You think it's got problems now? Imagine if we abolish it's the most stupid thing to say. So to say that we should not have people who are there and their duty is to protect everyone. If they abuse it, yes, remove them. That's what they're doing with the guy. They put him in jail, or he's going to jail. So yeah, if someone abuses the power, then you deal with them appropriately. But you can't say don't have violence. That's artificial. Like as a Hare Krishna, I've never had to be violent once in the last, 30 years. I've never once had to be violent. We've been attacked. A few times I was chanting in the street and someone came in like attacked. But we just drew back, and then the people generally they leave. There's only one time when Anaka, who was a Hare Krishna friend of mine, and a guy came out of the pub. We were chanting down the street, and he came out of the pub and he just went bang, and he hit one of the Hare Krishnas. And then Anaka, they didn't realise he was ex-Russian military, like paramilitary. So unfortunately it didn't turn out very well for that man. Because he lost it. Because one of the Hare Krishnas got hit, he just grabbed the guy and he went bang. And it took 4, bouncers. They had to come out of the pub and pull him off like that, because he didn't appreciate one of his friends being hit for no reason. So. But otherwise I don't see. Any other questions?
I guess just a comment about, you talk about that there is a need, for police. I guess maybe, we all have our own natures and there's different roles within society. If you wouldn't mind talking about, how according to our natures there are different people who have a different sort of role within society.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, within the ancient teachings it says there are 4 groups in society which are naturally there. The Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Sudra. So that is naturally there. So we see there are intellectual people, holy people, people who are meant to guide us. They're there, so that's a vocation. So those of us who have that vocation, they should act like that. And then there are the Kshatriya. Kshatriya means the protectors, the military class, soldiers, warriors. Some people are just like that, so they should do that duty. And then there are Vaishyas, which means mercantile people, who are good at making money, they like to make money, they should do that. And Shudras means those who provide practical skills. Like these days we have plumbers, electricians, all these things. So we need those people. So people naturally fall into one of those 4 categories. So we should do our duty or act according to our nature. But in our teachings we say act according to our nature for Krishna. So if you're a protector, protect for Krishna. If you're good at making money, make money for Krishna. Right? If you have skills, use it for Krishna. That's all we say.
Yeah, thank you. It makes sense. You naturally see that. We see those 4.
Yeah. Even to this day, people, if you look at yourself, we all fall into one of those categories. So find your nature and then just that's what Prabhupada would say. He would say, find what you're good at doing and then do it for Krishna. Any other questions? Comments? Is anyone hungry?
Yes.
Okay, one man, so you please go into the next one. We'll see the rest of you next time. But it's ready. Are we eating inside or outside?
I think it's set up inside.
Inside. So if you go into the next room, and then you can eat outside, or we ask everyone to social distance while eating. So as much as possible, please just keep a little distance. And in the line, just keep a little distance. And then we'll serve there. And if you want to eat outside, the sun's out a little bit. So it's your choice, if you inside or outside, but please just follow the social distancing laws. Please come again. Hopefully next month we'll have bigger numbers. Depends what the government says, so we're just following government. This month was 20, that's our cap. If we're allowed to have more, we'll have more, otherwise we'll see. Maybe next month it'll be 5. So get in very quickly. Fine. The cut-off this time was 20, so we had to keep it like that, but hopefully next time. We have a free magazine as well, so if you would like to read more about our philosophy, our lifestyle, there's a free magazine, you can take it there. And then please take your meal in the next room. And after lunch, we'll go and see the cows. So if anyone would like to come, just come with us. We'll socially distance over to the cows, and then we'll socially feed the cows from a safe distance, I suppose. So please come again.